Today on CityCast Denver, ask 50 Denverites what their favorite Mexican restaurant is, and you'll get 50 different answers. But if Daniel and Luis Ramirez have anything to do with it, Los Dos Potrillos will soon become the biggest player in the Den-Mex scene. Their dad worked in kitchens on the north side until he could afford a restaurant of his own. Now they're taking the reins and building their own suburban taco empire. Today is Wednesday, January 25th, 2023. I'm Bree Davies, and this is CityCast Denver. Daniel and Luis Ramirez, welcome to CityCast Denver.
Thank you. Thanks for having us on.
So we're almost 3 years into a pandemic that has decimated the restaurant industry, yet you two are opening new spots across the metro area. What do you know that other restaurateurs maybe don't?
That's a great question. You know, it's not so much of what other restaurateurs don't know. I think it's just the ambition. You know, call it young ambition. And Luis is 34. I'm 30 years old, and I think when the pandemic happened, we created this concept called Los Dos Potrillos Express when everything was completely shut down, and that's what made us get the food truck. And then from there, we're like, oh man, this is working okay. I think we can end up doing something different. And then there's the other concepts started to evolve, and that's what we're going to be opening up in March. And I think it's just an inner drive that we have.
It's just the COVID changed everything. The pandemic changed everything for every restaurateur. Obviously, when my brother and I came up with this concept, it was scary. It was difficult. We didn't know what to expect, and what came of it was, like Danny said, Los Dos Express. We noticed that that's the trend. That's where everyone's kind of going towards right now. Sure, we could be just young guys, just pounding their chests, but we're very confident, very happy with where the direction everything's going right now.
But, I'm also thinking about this narrative where, okay, so the minimum wage went up at the beginning of this year.
Yeah. And
I know that sort of one of the narratives around restaurants is like the margins are tough to begin with.
Yeah.
And then asking restaurants to pay more, which I have to say, I've never talked to a restaurant owner that doesn't want to pay more to their employees, but it becomes a matter of like, how do you make it work? So I just wondered if that change in minimum wage impacted your thoughts or your plans for growth at all.
Quite honestly, I don't think we really thought about that as one of the deterrents for wanting to expand. We see our hospitality industry more as a career versus, back they had the stigma, maybe 20, 25 years ago. Hey, you do this for your first job. You go in there, you bust some tables, you go and host. But now, the world is constantly changing. And right now, we are creating a career. This is your career. Sure, the minimum wage obviously going up. It's going to keep going up. That's out of our control. The only things we can focus on is providing good service, great food, and just treating our staff well. That's what the things that we can focus on, and then we'll let the rest take care of itself.
Yeah, and I think also what you're saying, I deeply respect the restaurant as a career, because a lot of folks have chosen that and it's not seen as a career. And I think that is so detrimental to the people that show up every day. Because I worked in retail for 17 years and we were treated often as like disposable people. But I worked for some of the same people for years and years and years. It was their career. And so it sounds like you're kind of creating an environment that makes people think, I could do this for a career.
It's pretty amazing to see, and to have the support from your staff, and especially your staff here in our corporate office. We established a really awesome culture, and it's during the pandemic, it was of course it was scary, and of course there was so much going on, and we furloughed 300 employees during the pandemic, but throughout the furloughing, we also accommodated the ones that we did have to furlough. It's like, hey, we have free meals on Tuesdays and Thursdays, like big family meals. Come grab them. To finding ways to have our busters come in and try to do something, clean the restaurant, just try to give them as much hours until PPP came in. We were just constantly trying to find ways to take care of them because of how much they've taken care of us and continue to take care of us. My father accomplished his American dream, and, now we have the ability to help others create their own American dream, and that's what it's about.
So something I want to ask you about is the location of your restaurants, because you guys really focus on the suburbs and you're not in Denver proper.
Yeah.
Are you avoiding Denver?
It's a great question. It's again, back in the day, we actually, our father, it was off 18th and Arapahoe called the Arapahoe Junction. We were actually there, and he kind of ran that spot. And then he also had another spot with my godmother. They opened together off of 72nd and Pecos, Tia Maria's. Our godmother was there for 25 years until COVID shut him down. And then everyone kept asking, well, why don't you go up north? Why don't you go up north? And, we always said we basically had a treaty saying that we wouldn't go up north and our godmother wouldn't come down south to compete against each other. So now, she retired. She said it's actually a blessing that, the COVID happened for her restaurant because they were just tired and they were done. And, and now, that you asked that question is, expect us, that's why we are going north, Glenn. It's still a little bit of a suburb of Denver, because we love the suburbs. We love getting involved in the community. And then once we have a couple more stores open around the suburbs, then we're going to go down to the Denver area, and really just, because we feel like Denver, it's so fun and it's so unique in its own way that we want to make sure when we do something, we do it right. Currently right now, we do the suburbs really well and we understand the suburbs. So once we kind of get all those projects out of the way, then we're like, okay, this is a fun project. This is that project we've been talking about for 10, 15 years. Now let's put all of our energy in here because now this is just going to be different. It's going to be just honestly super fun.
We do have very, very cool concepts that we are developing for when we do make it to Denver.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we can visit any of your other amazing restaurants.
Of course.
So your dad, Jose, opened the first Los Dos Potrillos back in 2002.
Yep.
You guys are building this now. I mean, this is in the last couple of years. You've really started to expand. Like, was this the long-term dream? What made you take something that your father made 20 years ago and make it into this sort of restaurant empire you're building now?
So our father really, he worked so hard his entire life for everything that he built with his hands. He wasn't around for Danny and I when we were younger, which we totally understand. He was trying to provide a better life. So our thought process is, why stop there? Let's create his impossible dream come true. Because honestly, we can. If he was on this interview, you can ask him, what was your vision for Los Dos? He would say, I never saw no more than two locations. And these crazy guys had to come into the business and start doing, Dad, well, look at this one. What do you think about doing one in Highlands Ranch? What do you think about Parker? Danny was like, what do you think about doing the beer concept? What do you think about doing food trucks? And hey, Dad, no, well, how do you think about our fast casual idea? And we're just trying to create and maintain his legacy for what he's done. He's done so much good in this world and has given so much back to the communities that, you know what, that's essentially the essence of our business model. Let's stick with that, be involved in the community, and just continue his legacy of what he's done and just keep it going. That's really one of the biggest reason, honestly. And then my brother and I, we are best friends. We are business partners. We wanted to do this together. It's Los Dos Potrillos. It's both of us. So who else to get into business with than this guy right over here?
Yeah. It really is. It's something special, right? Like it's hard to cover. And, like there's been a lot of, people say it's like, that second generation really is the one that doesn't really care about the business. Right. And then they let it go.
That's such a narrative. Yeah.
I don't know. Like we grew up in this, like, I mean, I'll be honest, like in high school, if we wanted anything, or not even in high school, like when we were 13 years old, like if we wanted anything, we were working as a host. But, our babysitters were the chefs and the kitchen guys. Those were our babysitters. I had the opportunity to go to play college football and got out of the business. And, but I wrote on my senior book that my goal and my vision one day was for us to take over my parents and get them out. And then for my brother and I to continue expanding. And this was, 12, 13 years ago. And it was just a vision. And, I knew I would come back to the business one day with Luis. I just didn't know when. And it was just perfect timing when it ended up happening. And it's been great. Like Luis said, like what our father has seen and what he gets to do now, he gets to hang out with his grandkids. I mean, he works the floor with my mom, with our
mom. I was going to say, is he retired or what's Jose doing?
He's never going to retire. Never. Never. I don't think that you ever retire in the restaurant world, because even if you go out to eat, you're somewhere else.
You're managing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yep. He works the floor Mondays and Tuesdays and Thursdays with our mother, but those other days he's with the grandkids. I mean, that is a true American dream for him, because and my mom grew up in a family of 8. My dad grew up in a family of 15.
Holy cow.
And their parents never had the ability to really connect with them.
Yeah.
And then they never really had too much of an ability to connect with us because they were really always working and making it for us. But now we've given them the ability to connect with their grandkids. But now we also have the ability also to work and to connect with our kids and our family as well. So it's been pretty great.
It's really awesome too. Your dad obviously trusted both of you to say, take this and do what you want to do with it.
And it's fun, just a little caveat to that is, he always says, "This is my last one, son." I'm like, "I'm not going to do another one, son. I'm not going to do another one, son." And then
You're like,
and then we're like, "Hey, Dad, we found this file. Is it okay? Get some information. Get some information."
He's like, "Oh wait, that real estate looks good. Okay, that's
exactly
good.
That looks good. That looks good." Because I'm like, Dad, look. Like, why do you keep saying this is your last one? It's like, what better spot do you want to be is you have your sons helping you literally run the company. You just get the ability to kind of sit back and kind of oversee, play a little bit of, here and there, let's move this here, move this there. And like, get your eye on things. But, you get the ability now to really invest in your company in the way you want.
And enjoy it.
That makes a lot of sense.
So to wrap up, we're on this hunt for Denver's best street tacos. And I have to say, I looked at your website. You guys have a really interesting take on tacos. Like it's really like it's interactive. It's interesting. Can you explain to folks what a Los Dos street taco experience is?
What we want to do with our street tacos is we want to do simple 1-9 Jerez. Jerez, Zacatecas is where our family's from. So every time you come to our tacos, it's what we get when we're down there. We're having our carne asada, our chicken, our carnitas, everything like that. So we actually won Top Taco. What is it? 3 out of the last 4 times we've competed.
Oh, wow.
COVID was a wash. Our first year we won was with our carnitas tacos. It's exactly how we have them in Jerez. That's all. Every time you come to Top Taco, it's what you would expect when you come to Jerez, Zacatecas. We got the setup. We're singing. We're dancing. We're just slinging tacos left and right, talking to everyone. So we did carnitas, and then we did our barbacoa, and then most recently we went with suadero tacos. That's what it is. 1 night in Jerez, Zacatecas. You come and get them. It's what you're gonna get a high quality street taco that you would get, just down the street at a local food truck or after you're leaving the nightclub or the dance, or or the bar. You get some. You want tacos, but you want, again, we're in the suburbs. We offer a little bit higher quality handmade tortillas. We hand make them every single day, so that's another difference that we do with us. And we offer just a much higher quality taco that we absolutely love and want to share with everyone.
Well, and I've seen the platter. It's like it comes with like grilled onions and jalapenos and
that's
nopales.
a taquiza.
Oh, okay. This is different.
So this is itself. So a taquiza is make your own street taco, like at your table. So you can have that fun experience. Come with some friends, girlfriends, or whatever, and have some margaritas. Hey, let's get a taquiza, and we can make our own street tacos there at the table, like steak, chicken, pork, adobada. Cactus,
Cool.
Mexican onion, cilantro, onion, radish, lime, salsa callejera, which is street taco salsa, or salsa tomatillo verde. And, you can make your street tacos, have a great time. But then you can also have, if you just want an individual order of street tacos, you can do steak, you can do shrimp, you can do carnita, barbacoa, shredded beef, any street taco that you want. If we have that meat, it's going to be able to be done for you.
So you go to your street taco, your local food truck, lonchera, and they have their griddle. It's sizzling, and you have the meat. Well, our taquiza comes out sizzling, so it's a take on the griddle. So you get it to your table and you're doing it yourself. So that's what makes it fun.
Okay, I love it. I'm going to have to check it out. Well, Daniel and Luis, thank you so much. This was really wonderful. I can't wait to try a Los Dos. What is it, a taquiza?
Taquiza.
Taquiza. Okay, I'm taking my in-laws. We're going to do it.
You have to. It'll be great. And then, Bray, just know, when you come to Los Dos Potrillos, it's like you're coming home. So, bienvenidos a nuestra casa. Welcome to our house. Welcome to your house. So...
Thank you both so much.
Of course. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And here's what else Denverites are talking about: the future of the Park Hill Golf Course. After hours of public comment, Denver City Council voted 11-2 Monday night to send this issue to the voters in April. If voters say yes, the developers will be able to carry out their plan for a new residential and commercial neighborhood and a 100-acre park. So is it time to gear up for another ugly fight? Our pal Connor McCormick Kavanaugh was covering the vote for Westward, and he tweeted that representatives from both sides of the debate were speaking in a, quote, quite friendly manner to one another in council chambers. And finally, some good news for families. Colorado's new universal preschool program is launching this fall, and applications opened last week. According to the Denver Post, more than 1,300 providers have already signed up to participate, offering approximately 50,000 preschool spots. Families who snag a seat will get up to 15 hours of free preschool per week. So I'm going to drop a link in the show notes to help you figure out if you're eligible and how you can apply. That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. If you enjoyed the show, why not take a minute to tell competitive taco eating champion Joey Chestnut about us? Rate the show wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe to our morning newsletter, Hey Denver, by texting Denver to 66866. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye-bye. Do they not have preschool in Canada, Paul? Just kidding. I know you guys call it like grade 5 instead of 5th grade, so I was just checking.